Hey everyone, I am coming to you from beautiful Sugar Hill, New Hampshire, tucked away in the backyard of one of my friends' houses on a beautiful Wednesday. I love this weather, this overcast, cloudy weather. It's my favorite. I want to come to everyone with a story of something that happened to me recently, and I'm going to use the big G word, the big God word. It's a sensitive topic for a lot of people. A lot of people have been hurt by that word. But it's something that, being the biggest sort of spirituality in our modern Western world, it's hard to talk about spirituality without talking about God, the creator, right? The universe, or Christianity. Real hard to be in this world, especially in a spiritual nature, without talking about God. So we're going to talk about God a little bit and talk to you about a little story that happened to me recently. In the town of Bethlehem, there's a little coffee shop, one of our favorites, called the Maya Papaya. If you're local, pretty sure you know about it. And Melissa, the owner, does a wonderful job with having local artists share their art there. There is a local artist by the name of Matt Bassett, who just recently started a showing there of his art. If you're not familiar with the Maya Papaya, if you're not familiar with Matt Bassett, go ahead and check both these guys out because they're amazing. Matt was sharing on Facebook, social media, how he was going to do a new showing and he was hanging up all these pieces that he'd made. I saw a post, I think it was like a Friday or Saturday night, I'm not sure when he posted it, and a lot of cool stuff hanging up on the wall. I was pulled to a couple of the pieces, most especially a big dark raven crow looking thing. I'm not usually a crow person. I mean, I love crows and ravens. I love birds of all sorts, but I'm not, you know, I'm uh, not a person uh, feels especially connected to crow or raven, other than just being in a world where they exist. I had plans that following morning to go get a coffee and to go to the Maya Papaya and check out Matt's stuff. That morning, as I'm just wandering around, doing my thing, getting ready to head out in that direction, Matt randomly tags me on Facebook. As he mentioned in my name, he, he had tagged the picture of the raven that he had taken and he had hung. And he said he didn't know why, but as he was making it, my face kept popping in. And I'm not, I like to feed the crows. I love animals of all sorts. I don't think that I'm associated with crow or raven too much. So there's really no reason why Matt would want to or mean to associate me with this, right? And, unless this was some sort of slick marketing thing that he did, which, knowing Matt, it's not. So I saw this post, I saw this tag of me on Facebook, and I'm like, all right, this is weird. I'm literally headed right there. And as I was headed there, it's like, this is just weird. And I go there and I find some other pieces, and I love supporting the Maya Papaya. I love supporting art and local artists as we can. And I was just perplexed by this whole thing because, I was pulled toward the raven. He was seeing me as he was creating the raven. And, it only takes a couple times for these things to line up, to have synchronicity, for me to go, okay, something's up here. This God talk and this stuff, there's a lot of stuff going on around me lately, making me think things, feel things, experience things. So I decide to, just for the heck of it, research raven and, the symbolism and what it might mean. Just for the heck of it, check it out. Because, we can take meanings from those particular types of signs, right? Coincidences, synchronicities, what have you, right? The universe and the world's trying to tell us something. So I just Googled meaning of raven. And, there's a great book called Animal Speak. Raven is commonly and traditionally known as a messenger, right? Among other things. But then something drew my caught my attention, and it was this mention of raven in the Bible. So I was like, hell, why not? Let me go and just look. Doesn't hurt to research, right? Doesn't hurt to see these messages. So I find this thing about raven mentioned, and raven's in a couple different places. Like raven is apparently the bird Noah threw off the ark. Didn't throw off the ark, but had surveyed the land after the rainstorms were over. I might be not exactly right on that one. But there was something about raven in Luke, and it fit into something that I had recently been pondering. So the story about Raven, or this verse or what have you about Raven in Luke, goes something to the effect of, would you look at Raven? You know, no house, no storehouse, no shelter, no roof, no barn, and yet God takes care of Raven. And I found that very fascinating, right? Because, well, you're true. You know, Raven, birds, you know, there's no house, there's nothing to that effect, right? Yet the world, creation, the creator, what have you, provides for Raven. And I took that as a very distinct message because, you know, as an entrepreneur, as a person in this world where things are getting weird, you know, inflation, gas prices, energy prices, things are very strange. In the face of all that, it's hard to have faith, right? It's hard to maintain a mindset of abundance and prosperity and not fall into a mindset of fear and scarcity, right? We've all got to be careful of that, whether times are good or times are not good, to maintain that positive attitude about abundance and what have you. So I was just pondering this message, you know, God provides, right? The universe, the creator provides. I was just pondering this message because, you know, I can get angry at the people who would have taken God's name in vain or used particular mythologies or religions or spiritualities in a negative way. I can get mad at that, and I can absolutely ask these questions. So as I, you know, as I'm pondering this, I'm like, well, you know, God, spirit, what have you, allow me to take issue with this because we live in a world where people are starving, right? We live in a world where people are starving. So how can I rightfully, justifiably, without falling into some sort of, you know, programmed worldview, right? Like I don't want to you know, blind faith is just, it's difficult to wrap our head around, right? Have faith no matter what. So this idea that God provides for all their children, his, her, their children, right? That God provides, very difficult for me to wrap my head around. And I throw that out. I'm like, you know, hard for me to wrap my head around this, the idea that God provides for all their children when we have starving people in the world. And then very distinctly I heard this message. God provides for all their children. The children of God do not provide for all their children. And, you know, to be perfectly frank, that floored me. That message floored me. Because, how true is it? You know, I looked around the world at that moment and I was like, okay, so we have all the air, all the water, all the, you know, all the resources that we need to feed everybody, to house everybody, to take care of everybody's medical needs, to take care of everybody's energy needs. I mean, look at the sun, right? And solar power. Literally, the universe provides for everybody and everything. But now, put economics, capitalism, resources. Creation provides. It's the children of creation that profit from not providing. So the next time you have questions about abundance and the creation and all of that, make sure that if you're frustrated with creation, not to get frustrated with the children of creation who have free will and can make these sorts of decisions and decide not to provide for everyone. So that's how Raven spoke to me in that moment, and I would encourage you to listen to those messages that you receive when you receive them. Take care of yourselves.